Hello YouTube, this will be a quick ACF tutorial on tanks. As you can see, I've already spawned my wheels and my flat plate. They've all been straightened out with Shift E on my fizz gun. We'll just spawn everything we need, or most of the things we need, before we wire any of the components. So I'll spawn a chair. And I'll spawn an engine from the ACF menu. Now all we need is a gearbox. I generally use 4 speeds for the tanks. For this, we'll use a transaxial small dual clutch. Getting the engine and the gearbox aligned is quite important, so I'll move the engine up a little bit more and align the gearbox with the engine output. Okay, now all we need is the wire components. First we'll get a multiply gate, which is under the arithmetic gates, and we'll just spawn that. And we'll spawn a constant value just under the input output. We'll set the constant value at 100 and spawn that. Now all we need is a pod controller, which is under vehicle control. Spawn the pod controller, and then right click the pod controller with the pod controller tool, then right click your seat, and they will both be linked. To wire everything, use your wire advanced under wire tools. Active on the engine goes to active on the pod controller. Throttle on the engine goes to out on the multiply gate. A on the multiply gate goes to the constant value. B on the multiply gate goes to W on the pod controller. The gearbox, gear up, will be going to shift. Gear down goes to space on the pod controller. Left clutch, D. Right clutch, A. Now, to link the engine, we will use the ACF menu tool. Right click the engine, right click the gearbox, and then right click the gearbox, then right click the wheels. Now everything is linked up. Finally, I'll weld these to the base. And I'll connect the wheels to the base with the axis center tool. For the back wheels, I'll just have a little friction. Okay, if you want to have the wheels turn like a real tank, to have a locked rotation, I'll use Ballsocket center with the rotation constraint checked. I'll click the back wheel and link it to the front wheels. Same with this wheel. And there you go, you should have a drivable tank frame. I'll just no collide these by right clicking. And I'll get out the advanced dupe 2 to test this out. I'll shift, right click, then right click again, and paste. Oh, and I might want to add a little armor or a little weight to this base because it's quite light right now. And let's take it for a spin. Okay, we could use some brakes. To add some brakes, I'll just get out another multiply gate. Put that here. And another constant value. I'll set it around 30. Wired it up, A to the constant value, B to the S on the power controller. Okay, here we go. The brakes, left brake, out, right brake, out on the multiply gate. And let's try this again. Advanced dupe 2, shift, right click again, and paste. Oh yes, I have to armor it again. And there you go, we have a fully drivable frame and brakes. I'll just save this now. We don't need that. Right click, shift, and then right click again to save. And save. Then hit the save button. And there you go. A drivable tank chassis. Armoring your vehicle is up to your build skills, so I'll just demonstrate my own by spawning some plates. And I'll get out my no collide tool to no collide these plates with right click. And now I'll put these together. I'm flying slowly by holding the crouch key. Holding E while rotating gets you specific angles that Shift E cannot. This does take a bit of skill while building, but it's adequate enough if you don't feel the need for any fancy precision tools. This is a completed hull. I used material tool and color tool to change the looks. The tracks are just armor plates. To parent everything, get out your multi-parent tool with the remove constraints checked in general, and click on all your armor plates. Avoid parenting the wheels and the base, although you can parent the ammo boxes and the wire chips. ACF engines and gearboxes cannot be parented. Now that we have everything, we'll just right-click the multiply gate that we first used. And everything is now parented. We now have a drivable hull. One other thing, I'm invisible because I used my wire advanced to wire hide player to active on the pod controller. I also have crosshairs enabled to active. To build a turret, we'll need a wheel. Just center that on there. And we'll need an ACF gun. Once you've put the armor together, just parent it all directly to the wheel. That also goes for any ammo you might have in the turret. The armor here is an optional mantlet. It moves with the gun. So I parent this to a wire gate that I've placed on the back of the gun. To access center the turret, we always do the guns first. Click a flat side of the gun, and then click the turret wheel. For the main gun, we'll need a little friction. Same goes for the wheel. Flat side, turret wheel, then we access the turret wheel to the base plate. The machine gun was optional, but to ensure that it moves with the main gun, you need to use your Ballsocket center tool. With the rotation constraint checked, click the flat side of the gun, then click the flat side of the main gun, and they will move in accordance to each other. The final chips you'll need will be a wire GPS under detection, and a vector subtraction gate, and finally a vector thruster under force in physics. And for this you'll need to double click to actually spawn this thing. In the vector thruster menu, click over water effect list and scroll down to the no effect and click that. For force multiplier, make sure you're on 10,000. For force maximum, never have anything more than 1. To accomplish this, you can click to the left of the slider and hold, and you'll be able to drag the number accordingly. For this tank, it's a light tank, so we don't want more than 0.20, otherwise we'll drag the tank. Also make sure the mode is on XYZ world. Now all we have to do is drag the vector thruster in front of the gun. The further out the vector thruster, the more accurate the aim. Just try not to have the vector thruster directly in the barrel, because it will get shot. Okay, this looks ideal. It's slightly below the barrel. This can always be adjusted if you're not satisfied with the aim. Weld it to the gun and get out your wire advanced. Wire mul from the vector thruster to the mouse 2 on the power controller. Vector on the vector thruster goes to out on the subtraction gate. A from the subtraction gate goes to vector. B goes to main position on the pod controller. And now you should have functional aim for the turret. When driving, it's bad to have the turret move on its own, so get out the wire weld latch under physics constraints and click the gun, then click the base, then click the base again to put the controller. Now spawn a constant value with a value of 0. And finally, a comparison gate greater or equal. For the ammo, just go to the ACF menu and navigate to the ammo. I chose armor piercing. Yeah, you choose whatever caliber on this list and the size of the ammo box. And you can drag these sliders, and these will determine the power of your ammunition as opposed to how many will take up the room of your ammo box. You can select tracers, I usually do. To activate the weapons, just right click your guns and then right click its respective ammo box. This gun has 2 ammo boxes. For this machine gun, I'll obviously right click the machine gun ammo. Now to just wire everything up, it's just go to your wire advance. Fire on the main gun goes to my mouse 1 on the pod controller. And fire on the MG, I have mine set to R on the pod controller. Also, don't forget to activate the ammo boxes. So active goes to munitions, active, munitions, and also the MG box, active to munitions. And let's fire. We can now proceed to the final part of the tutorial, but before we do that, get out your color tool and drag the visibility slider all the way to 0. Then click the seat so we don't have to look at it. With wire advance to wire activate from the latch to out on the greater or equal, then wire strength to the constant value. B on the greater or equal goes to mouse 2 on the pod controller. And congratulations, you have a fully functional tank. The only thing you need to do now is perhaps tweak the friction and the vector thruster power, and maybe its positioning, but also apply the armor with ACF armor properties. As you can see, I already applied my armor. I don't have very much because this is a light tank with a small engine. Just a couple more things I recommend before you finish with the physical properties tool. Make sure enable gravity is unchecked and the material is metal, and just click all your guns and your engine, and this should help the performance a bit. It's actually a bit more realistic this way because the engines actually seem a bit underpowered for this weight. Also, one other thing, just with the color of the material tool, just you can make your vector thruster invisible, and that's about it. Before we take this thing out on the range, let's save it with advanced dupe. Make sure your area copy is checked. Then shift right click again. Now right click one of your folders, hit save, and then name it. Hit the blue button, and it'll be saved. Now you have a tank that you can use at any time. The fizz gun, just hit R on the wheels to unfreeze the whole thing. To get this thing moving, I use the A and D keys since they're the clutch. I use them with W. Let's take out our first target. I'm hitting the zoom key. Intercept the next one. Let's try to get it from this view. And for the third. And there you have it, a full demonstration of a non-E2 tank and its capability.